My name is Mandy Souter, and this slideshow is intended to give you an overview of Louise Rosenblatt and her reader response theory, also known as transactional theory. I have included a KWL chart for you to complete. I chose this graphic learning organizer for reasons I will mention on a later slide. While attending Barnard College as an undergrad, the women's college at Columbia in New York City, Louise developed an intense interest in each reader's response to a given text. This led to her becoming a well-known reading theorist for her reader response theory. Her literacy views were influenced by John Dewey, and much of her research was based on his foundational work. Rosenblatt believed that the act of reading literature involves a transaction between the reader and the text. This is why her reader response theory is also referred to as transactional theory. She termed this transaction with text a relationship, while she referred to the meaning of text as the poem. Her theory further explained schemata theory because it relies on the differences and the amount and kinds of background schemata each student possesses. Constructivism, which also is based on the work of John Dewey, is a perspective on learning that explains the way in which readers integrate new knowledge with prior knowledge to comprehend text. The work of Rosenblatt helps us understand the ways in which everyone constructs meaning and interprets text during reading differently based on personal schematas. Rosenblatt argued that the meaning or poem of any text relies on the reader's interaction with the text, not with the text itself. Therefore, all readers have individualized reading experiences. The transaction or relationship, as Rosenblatt sometimes referred, between the reader and the text is dramatically influenced by each reader's life experiences and prior knowledge. In Rosenblatt's opinion, each text transaction is a unique experience in which the reader and text continuously act upon each other. Thus, learning occurs naturally on an individual basis. In other words, text does not have the same meaning for every reader because each individual brings their own background knowledge, beliefs, and context to the transaction. For Rosenblatt, the poem resonated in importance above the reader-text interaction because it was the meaning, and gaining meaning from text equals comprehension. With regards to classroom use, the purposes of reading informational text and reading literature are very different. According to Rosenblatt, there are two kinds of responses that all readers have to text. These lie on a continuum and are known as efferent responses and aesthetic responses. The efferent component focuses on reading for information and obtaining efferent responses from students. Efferent reading has a memorization element and pulls information out of the words. It is information such as character names, places, and events. The aesthetic component focuses on connecting with the text on an emotional level and eliciting connections between text and students' own lives. Most often, aesthetic reading occurs with literature works and describes how the text makes a reader feel. Teachers should incorporate both response types in the classroom because they provide for a full text transaction. Rosenblatt's reader response theory or transactional theory has had significant implications for classroom practice. As a result of her writings on reader response theory, it is now common for teachers to create follow-up or post-reading activities that encourage unique and individualized responses. Some examples of post-reading activities are literature response journals, literature groups, readers' theater, storytelling, bookmaking, story maps, story boxes, and story quilts. Brainstorming, webbing, or the KWL approach are classroom applications that can be utilized before and after reading to determine students' background knowledge on a topic. Thus, practicing the importance of individual schematas on the reader-text interaction. One popular activity based on Rosenblatt's reader response theory is often called making connections, in which students use 3 different types of connections during reading: text to self, text to text, and text to world. The foundational premise in all these activities is that the reader-text transaction comes together to create the poem. Comprehension is achieved.